long it has to work.
Oh, there's not. Hi there, how are you? Would you like to grab a seat? And I can get them a packet. Did everybody get a packet when you came in for today's meeting? You sure may. Willow.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. What is happening? Let's see what's going on.
That's the one bad thing is everybody should.
Are they using a different?
You're good, I'm sorry.
It's not
We
mine?
did Teams, I'm sorry, I don't know if you saw that email. I'm so sorry.
I'm like,
He did it so
what?
we can manage and we can talk to this.
The audio's a little better.
No, that's awesome. Because
Yeah.
my
That
phone
way.
was gonna die.
Oh, good. Well, I thought instead of us having to manage on the fly, Jared.
I was like gonna make the
that.
city the host. And
Cool, we'll be ready to start whenever y'all are.
And Natalie can hear us. Natalie, can you hear us? She's good to go? She's on mute.
Is
Should
that,
be, she's on mute.
She's on mute. Okay.
I'll be all right.
Oh,
I
you're
was
fine.
like, why is Natalie on there? And I'm like, oh, what is
Makes sense
happening?
Last minute request if at all possible. He was able
And then
to
I'm
do
like,
that.
wait a minute, I'm not showing up there either.
I know it's difficult and if we're planning, you know, it's
No, it's
kind of
great, yeah,
challenging
'cause-
to do that, but we do not have.
Because
a-
I feel really clumsy doing Zoom on my phone.
Wait, do we have a quorum since we have less members now?
Did we ever get that figured out in our bylaws? If our membership shrinks, if there's a percentage, I don't know if we ever hammered that
I
out.
don't think we did.
I don't think we did.
I didn't look at the bylaws and
I
stuff.
think it
don't
needs to be
remember.
that way because we got to where we couldn't do anything there for a while. Our membership
Oh,
was so
because
low, we
the
literally
number was too
require
high.
almost everybody to be there.
That is a great question. That I
When
don't
I
have an answer
read through it, I thought it was percentage based upon your
Oh.
active
You
membership.
want me to pull it up?
But
Because that'll be important.
That
No,
makes
it
more
was-
sense that it would be like, because like
I
you
mean,
said,
it's
you
just-
could,
It's not possible,
otherwise
it's not.
you get to the point where you
Possible.
can't do anything.
yeah.
Okay, y'all bear with us just a moment. Y'all peruse through the notes and let me, we'll do some.
hi.
I love her ginger hair.
It keeps getting lighter and lighter. I hope it stays a little red. It was tomato red. Maybe it'll come back.
I say we proceed as if we do.
I mean, I think yeah, because time is of the essence. Okay, quorum for the transaction of business shall be 5 members. Let's see.
How many members do we have right now?
So we should have 3 vacancies.
We do. That would make us.
3 vacancies and 5 applications?
Yeah. Would you let go of that? Yeah, your dad's here. Okay, you go. You go.
I don't see anywhere that it talks about percentages. It just says
Yeah, I'm not
It says
seeing
5.
anything.
it goes to the
5
next
seems like pretty
meeting.
definite.
Hmm.
5 seems like a pretty definite number.
No policies, but I'm not going to really consider all members. did not see any. There is a reconsideration for action, but I don't know if that's specific to expungement. Do you see that at the end there? It just says accept with, maybe that's just for expunging an act or denied amended application. Sorry, that's not. We're voting. Sorry, y'all, I wasn't prepared for that beforehand. Okay, we will go ahead and vote and conduct, and then we'll pose that question. And does that make sense, or should we just?
I think I'd just go ahead and roll for now, since we've got a lot on the
Rule what?
Well, the big thing is we can't approve
Yeah,
board
we're not
members.
gonna be able to do that.
Or funding.
Yeah. So this is where having a budget meeting.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and officially call this to order. It is 4:38. All right. And hi, we have a new person. We have a couple of new people today. Well, returning people, but new. I'm Tracy. I'm the chair. We've never
Okay.
met before.
I'm Noah. I'm an intern with the planning department.
Great. Nice to meet you. Welcome. Do you know everyone else? Would y'all like to introduce yourselves to Noah? We'll start here.
I'm Derek Cox. I'm the Assistant Director of the Parks and Recreation Department.
I'm Scott Meek. I'm a resident.
We already know each other, because we're working together every day.
I'm Krista Quinn. I'm the Faulkner County Extension Agent and Advisor to this board.
Claire. you wanna go?
I'm Claire. I'm holding the chamber spot of records right now.
I'm Janet Tobias. I'm just a resident that I'm interested for.
Friend of the tree board, very faithful friend of the tree board.
I'm Sam Little. I'm a grad student studying trees.
I am Lola Harper. I'm also a grad student at UCA, GIS.
All right, thank you all for coming. All right, I'm gonna turn my phone off. Okay, so we'll get us started, and of course I emailed as usual our minutes in terms of, or if anyone would like to approve or have questions of the previous minutes. Not, we can vote to
Yeah, I
accept
don't
those.
even
We
think we
can't
can
even do
approve.
any of that, right? Okay. All right, so as far as our budget, I didn't copy everyone on that. I did get that this afternoon from Lauren. There has been no activity, so our budget still remains the same. From last month, I did put it in the Google Drive, so you guys all have access to it, and I do have one printed copy if y'all would like to see it. However, we're in the same position as we were last month, so standing balance is $10,205. Available balance for us after consideration of the grants for the chamber project is $6205.77. Or I'm sorry, $2205.77 after the $4,000. So our available to spend is $2205.77. Okay. All right. Is that right? No, I'm sorry, 6205. Okay, let me
You're
start over. I'm
subtracting.
flustered. Okay, let me start over. Just kidding, 6205. We have $3,000 that we committed to the replanting of the celebration trees and the bricks that will be laid. Sorry. So we have 3205 available. Is that correct? Okay. All right. So there we go. So y'all just bear that in mind as we're having conversations today about Arbor Day, okay? All right. So just kind of off of old business, we had talked about last month that we do have our Tree City USA signs that we wanted to have put up. Kyle did a great job of sending us some traffic counters and where would be kind of the best positioning for us. We last left at kind of 3 possible places. I don't know, Kyle, if we want to.
Yeah, so I know we already have the one that's on Salem,
Mhm.
and I know we had talked about putting another one there. So it's really up to you all what you think. I guess I would be inclined to say let's move to another road since we do already have one on Salem. That then you might not be catching as many people, especially the east-west traffic. So I would say that we probably want to look at Prince or Sieben Morgan for getting some of that east-west traffic.
And if y'all are okay with that, we can't vote on it, but I think we were all kind of settled to those three, and looking at the traffic counters, those do look, I think Salem, we were thinking more north, kind of coming off of the interstate maybe, but I'm happy with Prince and Stephen Morgan. I think the traffic counts are good on both of those two. So if we're all good with that, then we will move on and say, please get those installed for us. So.
Yeah, let me know if I need to take those signs
Yeah, so I'll
someplace,
see
or-
what they want to do next, but
Yeah.
my understanding was that they're gonna provide the poles and everything and do all the installation, so
Okay.
I'll go ahead and
But the
email
actual
them.
signs are at my
Yeah.
office, so.
Yes, I'll see if they wanna just have you take them over here, or I can come and pick them up, so
Okay.
I'll check
On the
and see.
physical plant, just right, is that who does it, or streets?
I think Streets is gonna do
Okay.
this.
Okay, perfect. So we'll do Stephen Morgan and Prince.
And I guess we would need kind of a generic area that we wanna look at, so I think we talked about the high school on Prince, do we have anything
I
more
thought
specific?
I
than
thought
that?
anywhere between the high school and Kroger, because the counts were high in that
Okay,
area
like
too.
maybe coming out of one of the roundabouts there could be good.
And wherever they deem, I mean, I don't know. in
Yeah,
terms
I mean, they seem like they were
signage.
kind of leaving it up to us for the most
Okay.
part. They didn't seem like they really had a preference, so.
Actually, there are some
Yeah.
rules about where you
Yeah,
can put a sign.
So if we could just say, we'll
Yes.
narrow it down to that
I'll say whatever
location, let
works
them
for you
pick
all is
their-
good for us. And then
Yeah.
on Zeben Morgan, did we have an area that we think is best?
So I was thinking closer down, what is that, Harkrider?
See, on this,
And-
on the
and
west end.
museum, like between, like, so I was thinking athletics, people will be
Yeah.
traversing between Hendricks
So
and,
near
On
Hendricks.
Get
this
to
side
the
of the
parks.
interstate or the other side, do you think? So I guess this side, like before you get to
Between
Hendricks.
Harkrider
Yeah.
and the interstate.
Yeah,
do you think so? Yeah, because
I think that
most people
works.
are gonna come off and go that pathway,
Yeah.
whether they're going baseball, softball,
I mean, I think that's good because you're
Hendricks.
getting a lot of the East Conway traffic coming over there
that
too.
was my thought.
so.
So, okay,
Okay, so we'll plan on that
so we'll
then.
do that. Fantastic. Okay. So Chamber Beautification Project.
Yeah, I talked with Corey at the chamber, and he is applying for an extension on that grant. The work was supposed to be completed in August. But the contractor can't get it done then, so he already talked with the ag department, and they said that they'd be willing to do an extension. So I don't know how long this, they have the money, they have a contractor, it's just a matter of when they can get the
Getting on the
contractor
list.
to do it.
All right. So that'll continue, that'll be extended. Celebration trees, just quick update. I did follow up with Acme Brick and just kind of get like, when do we need to order? Is it feasible to have all of this done in time? And that just seems like we are a go for that. Spencer and the folks at Physical Planet have offered to do the brick lane potentially, as long as it's something they can do in a professional manner. So I got that email today and we'll send over details tomorrow, but it looks like they'll be able to help out with that part of it. A lot of back and forth in terms of correspondence and the tree board email and how and when we can correspond. So delays with the communication with all of the donors, but that's now thrown back to me and I will get that out this week. So we can bank on all the correspondence to any of the donors that will be impacted in terms of replanting and the new pavers. We'll have that communication this week, and we know all of the plans will fall around Arbor Day. So we'll have the rededication and planting. So going to move on from that because I feel like we have been talking about that all
For a
year.
very long time.
So, yep. Quickly updates for volunteer fairs. We are still a go for UCA. Natalie did reach out to both Hendricks and CBC. We've not heard back from them, but we did get a contact for Hendricks Volunteer Action Committee. They're the ones that are really engaged, so we might just do a direct request through them instead of attending a volunteer fair, which I'm good with. So we did get some progress there, but no dates or any more plans to share about that. But those will all be to support different projects for Arbor Day. I did also reach out very quickly today, actually, to the Arts Board to see if they did have some interest in helping support some of our projects for Arbor Day, to like the value tags maybe hanging on trees. So that's very initial conversations, and there will be much to be said, but looking at some partnership for that. And I didn't put that on there, but wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. The other thing I didn't put on in terms of old business, but it reminded me when I gave Derek his information, there was an ordinance that was due to go in front of the Planning Commission this past month based off of some work from the Preservation Committee in terms of urban forestry management. It started with one ordinance, and so Kyle, I'll let you kind of update us about that.
Yeah, so we took it to Planning Commission in July, so everything was good there. There was a little bit of feedback just from some people that were asking, well, how exactly is this going to be implemented? So it's not going to go into effect until March of 23, just to kind of let the developers have a chance to get familiar with it and get used to it, because this is something that's completely new for them. So that is one small change from what we had talked about, is that it's not going to be going into effect right away. So that'll be next spring, which then from that point forward, it'll be in effect. So we are working on the next one now, which is the drainage ordinance for the retention and detention ponds. So that's supposed to be going to Planning Commission this month for August, and then to City Council after that. So we'll see where that one goes. But yeah, everything is good with the other one. So it went to City Council as well, and it was good there. So they voted to approve it. So it's good to go.
And it was the one that would require trees.
So that was one tree, yeah, for single family and duplex.
So that's single and family duplex specific, right? For
Yeah,
those
yeah,
two,
specific to those two. So it would be before the certificate of occupancy was given out. So you would have to show that you had planted the tree.
Is it one planting, I'm sorry, or do you have to leave one tree? Does it count if you just, or does it have to be one new tree?
Yeah, you have to plant one new tree.
Just curious.
And there's specifications for the diameter of breast height and stuff. So that way we're not just getting some little twig. So we're actually making sure that you're getting something that can survive and thrive.
That's great. Thank you all for that. And then drainage will go, you said next.
So the plan is for it to go in August,
Okay.
but we'll see. I think we're still working out a few things with that one.
Sure.
And then as far as the other ones that we had discussed at that meeting, I think they're going to be a little further down the line, because some of them are just a little bit more difficult to get implemented. So I'm sure it'll be several months for a few of those, but we're working on them.
Good, thank you. Appreciate that. And that'll begin March 2023. Okay. Any questions about that? I know we're kind of zooming through. I think most of us were here last time. Okay. All right, so moving on to new business. So, and we were kind of talking about this before the meeting started, but we did do several new plantings between last year and this year. Some are struggling more than others, not to the lack of effort of our Parks and Rec crew, which are awesome.
Been
Watering
working. I see
steadfastly.
them watering all the time.
Yeah. But some of them are struggling. So you want to kind of lead that conversation about thoughts?
It's been a really hard year to get trees established, and so we planted some really large spaded trees in Laurel Park and Fifth Avenue last fall, and those I think are all doing pretty well from what I can tell.
Mhm.
But we also last fall planted some like containerized 25-gallon trees at Conway Station Park, and we've had and park staff, has really taken great care of those, but did have some issues in the spring with a couple of them blowing over. I think there's maybe been some vandalism on at least one of the trees. And then the drought has just been really hard. So even though they were planted at the right time and they were taken care of and we did all the things we were supposed to do, we've still got a few that are probably dead. But we've got some that look good too, so this really should be helpful. But it just goes to show you how difficult it is to get trees established in urban settings. It's a lot different than planting in the woods. And then we had, we did Rotary planted the one spaded tree in June, which we had said that wasn't a great time to plant it at Fifth Avenue, and that tree appears to be dead, even though Parks was watering it. And then we did the small like seedling trees at McGee, And those, I was really surprised.
They're surprisingly done pretty well.
I went and looked at them last week before we got the rain, and I was amazed how many still had green leaves. So, and we,
It's a really wet area.
yeah, and we planted them
They needed
dense.
those trees.
We planted them densely, expecting, some to die, and I think there are some that are dead, but we also chose, I mean, they are species that can handle that wet. But although it's interesting because the cypress, which like wet, are actually doing really, really awesome because they do really well in dry conditions too. We like them in like rain gardens for that reason. So they're kind of the ideal plant for that kind of a situation.
I was gonna actually ask you, we really thought about the ones that had appeared, especially in the season, when, the ones that appeared dead, removing them in the next week or
could.
two. I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't really decided. It might make your lives easier because I don't know how you're maintaining the grass around. Are you mowing? Are you weed eating? Weed eating? So so we probably could remove some of those and maybe you'd be able to mow a little bit.
That area, the reason we selected that area though is because that area generally has to be weed eated anyway, because it
Because it's too
stays
wet.
so wet.
Yeah.
We can't mow it.
I wonder if it's
Guys,
soggy now. I'm kind of
It
curious.
is now, it probably wasn't a few days ago.
It was not. I mean, I went out there.
Weekend, I'm
I can't
sure.
remember, Wednesday or something last week, and it was perfectly dry. I could walk anywhere I wanted. But okay, yeah, we can.
I can help go pull some of them. Do we want to save the little guards?
Save the guards, absolutely. Yeah, we can reuse
Is
those.
that like group effort that, or if I've got some time on Tuesday, just go out?
I think just go out there, and I actually think if you had some pruning shears, you could probably just cut them right at ground
I'll
level.
just
You
do
don't
that.
have to pull them
I'll
out,
do that.
but save the trunk guards. Yeah,
Got it.
great.
Thank you.
That's the McGee, and you said some other trees are dying or dead. Is there plans to replace those, or what do you, I mean, if you put a tree there, you intended to have a tree there, so.
Right. Well,
Do you
I
guys-
don't know that we have enough money right now to replace them, but certainly we'll try. We've got this big planting going in at Laurel Park. It's the celebration trees that were on Prince Street that are getting relocated to Laurel Park, and so a lot of this budget here is going to that. And there's no, we get the trees at Conway Station, we get those at a really good price, so there's not like the free replacement or whatever that you can get at a retail nursery doesn't exist for this.
And I think for the most part, I mean, really the one at Fifth Avenue or the
That's-
two at Conway Station.
That's the one I really feel like it for sure, it's been the drought that got. The one at Conway Station, we had a couple that was blown over by the wind. And there's a lot of people that are out there. You mentioned vandalism. There's several that
I think
are
there's one tree
suffering-
that's been,
They're suffering from vandalism.
yeah,
I do think that the drought has impacted
it's
maybe a
definitely-
few of them,
Yeah.
but Conway Station Park has its own issues. It's not just the drought, I guess is my thing.
I was really surprised that it was the two willow oaks that kept blowing over. Because they were the only two willow oaks too, so there was something
I
about
noticed
that.
that actually until you said that, and I thought it was the two willow.
And it's the two willow oaks, which seems so strange because they've got small leaves, and so you would think that they would not catch the wind the way like a tree with big leaves would. But so it has something to do with their root, like they didn't do as much root growth during the winter, I think. Just interesting.
Yeah. And then put those dots together, honestly.
Well, it did bring about good conversation the other day. I went to the extension office and Kristen mentioned like it'd be neat to try different size trees and kind of see how they react. So
I
we can
sometimes
do-
think smaller trees actually transplant better.
Yeah.
Than get established more quickly than large trees. But then you have the vandalism issues. So there's, in certain situations you maybe need big trees. But
And so we
it'd be
could.
interesting to try some different sizes
Yeah.
though.
Maybe the next, like if we do our tree growth planting, we can do varying sizes and kind of do a little bit of a test with some of that too. Just see how that works.
Do we ever use growth hormones when we plant trees? Do we ever stimulate with like specific root growth hormones or anything like that?
No, it's not really a recommended practice, so we don't do it.
Fair enough.
We aren't not really supposed to fertilize trees for the first year after planting either.
I knew fertilizing wouldn't really be beneficial, but I wasn't sure if essentially chemically getting them to grow more roots more quickly to help them establish might be beneficial.
It'd be an interesting little experiment to try, because I mean, root hormone is pretty easy to find and inexpensive.
And so we thought about perhaps going back to water bags might be helpful.
The Conway Station Park, it would for sure.
Yeah.
So there, and I think the Robinson tree would be a good candidate because that's a pretty fair walk between spigot and tree. And you don't want to drive through the cemetery. So that might be helpful too. So I know we're going to talk, I guess we can't vote. Are we voting or are we not voting?
We can't vote.
We can't vote on it. Okay.
Yeah.
So next time we will have expense and do a vote to get some water bags to help get us through for that. And then that did also bring about conversation as we go into next year's planning that it might behoove us to work in a little bit of an M&O part to our budget so that we're not having to go back and vote and request if we see a need and we need water bags and or trunks or replacement to something that there's some
I would love to approve
security
a
kind of
budget
built
at the
in.
beginning of the year that has kind of line items for like tree care supplies and stuff like that, so we just.
That's really smart.
So we'll put that on the books for when we start planning next year too, so. Okay, so let's move on. So let's flip. I know we said board member review, but we have Sam and she's one of our applicants. So let's handle other business, if that's okay with y'all, and then we'll ask them to go ahead and kind of step out and we'll discuss board member applicants for today. So, but really the meat and the potatoes is we need to plan our Arbor Day event and festival. And so we talked about several things at last month's meeting about what all we would like to do. And so, you know what I did now is reprint and bring all of that information back. But y'all do have, there were some, this back page or some assignments that we thought of, and it's I just quickly printed the Excel sheet today of some of the different assignments or the needs in terms of publicity, funding, actual events and activities, exhibitors we may want to have come and participate with us. We did also talk about food and things like that. So I do want to ask first, I know we had an email out and I've not gotten a response back. Kyle, I don't know if you have any information for us in terms of funding, partnerships, if we have restrictions, parameters.
Yeah, so a little bit of an update. So I did reach out to the city attorney about donations specifically. So he said that, yes, you can have donations that can come in, but he would recommend not soliciting anyone for donations. Now, he said that we could like post on social media, hey, we're accepting donations, but he said that he would strongly advise against going to any particular groups and saying, can you donate or would you like to donate or anything along that line? So if it's just a generic thing, then it sounds like it's pretty much good to go. But if you're going to an individual person and asking them, then sounds like it's a no-no.
Okay.
So there is that. So Felicia upstairs had mentioned that looking at the possibility of doing a 501c3 just so that the funds didn't have to go through city council and all that, because right now, since you all are a city board, everything, even if it's specifically for you all, it still has to go through city council. And they have to actually allocate the funds before they can come into you all's account.
Okay.
So that was something to maybe look at, but it sounds like Charles, the city attorney, said that might be just a lot of extra headaches. So I guess it's really whatever you all want to do on that. So we don't have a super strong opinion one way or the other. But yeah, under the current way that things are, everything would still have to go through city council and be allocated out to you all.
So in terms of 501c3, are there other, well, that would just be a lot of work.
So I don't think we have any other boards that are set up that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think yeah, all the other boards are just like you all. They're, everything that comes in has to, again, get allocated out to them. I mean, it sounds like it might just be more trouble than it's worth, but I guess that's something to look at if, if you all don't like the process of having this, money have to come in and wait for it to be allocated and stuff.
Well, I guess it's just understanding what are our funding opportunities, right? And so should we be requesting from the city, let's just say, for instance, hey, we need,
Yeah.
$2,000 for Arbor Day or for these specific projects. Would we be better served to just go ahead and ask the city for that money? Or would they like us to find other sources?
I guess
Is that the right question?
yeah, I guess it kind of depends where exactly the money is coming from. Like, I think if you're trying to pull from a department budget, that's probably not going to go very far, I would imagine, especially right now. But if there's extra money in the general fund, maybe that would be a route to take. But yeah, and I guess we could also have you all look at just getting people to do some sort of donation that's not coming through the city. Like if somebody just wants to do something for Arbor Day and it's not, going through the city and they're not giving us any money, then that would be another way to
So
go
more
about
of like
it.
an in-kind donation is what you're saying.
Yeah.
then.
And for those solicitations, do we need to do I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off, a
it's
general
okay.
post for social media? We couldn't go out
So
to
you
a
can do that.
specific person
Yeah,
again?
he recommended against going to any specific group or individuals, but yeah, if it's just a generic thing for anyone to say, hey, we're accepting donations, we have Arbor Day coming up, then that should be fine. But yeah, I think we're trying to avoid asking anyone, hey, can you donate?
Okay.
So ask the city? Is that what you're saying? Sorry. Well, and I mean, it hasn't, and the reason why I ask is I guess it's never, we've never come close to expending our budget, but this year we planted more trees,
Yeah.
we have replanting, and I think if this year has shown anything, the replacement cost of trees is gonna continually grow. And then also for wanting to get more trees in the ground, incentives for like the free tree giveaways, or if we wanted to purchase seedlings. I'm just trying to get us prepared for expenditures that exceed $5,000. We get that $5,000 from Conway Corp, which is wonderful, but if we're going to expand, we will need access to more funding. And so that's really, I think, where the question's coming from. Is it on us to go out and solicit, or are we going to have more funds from the city? Anyway.
So like for Arbor Day specifically, I was going to go through a few of our really active local banks, go Conway Regional, say, hey, could you donate some bottled water? But it sounded like that's a no-no.
Well,
It's interesting
I
because
guess
we
we
have
didn't-
past relationships
I know,
with
'cause it's
these
all been
groups.
done that
so I didn't ask him
Yeah.
specifically about like, tangible items, like maybe food or water is a little bit different than money. So I did not ask him about that. So I'm guessing that that's probably not as big of an issue if you're saying, hey, could you donate some water versus can you donate money?
Well, all of these would be
In kind.
in kind,
donations.
nothing has to do with money for these, but I'm thinking like you were talking about Sam's Club or Walmart, donating some things, or water, or having First Security bring their grill out, or that sort of stuff.
Yes, I mean, I didn't get a super clear answer on that. So, yeah, I mean, it sounded like, again, he was more concerned with just the actual money.
Well, and it's not tax deductible because
Yeah.
it's coming, and we
Yeah.
also don't want to show any favoritism towards any
Well, and that's the other thing,
organization.
too,
Yeah,
right.
I get that.
I think that's
For
his
sure.
Yeah.
concern.
And I think as long as they're doing it to just help the city in general and just for the benefit of the community, but if they're doing it hoping to get something out of it, I think that's also where it kind of becomes a
Absolutely.
bit problematic.
Because it is marketing. I mean, they'll get some marketing and things like that too. So,
Yeah.
I mean, naturally that would occur. Yeah.
Right.
So, okay.
So if we made a real generic post about needing some beverages, food, and something like that,
So-
and then if I run into the football group of Conway Regional, can I say, hey, did you see this post? Are you interested?
I mean, I think that sounds like it would be fine.
Oh, really?
But again, I'm certainly not the expert
Two
on
hospitals, right?
Well, I'm
Like,
in
just to be sure.
a networking group
Yeah.
with her, so it's like I see her every week, and so I really want to talk to her about it, but I don't know if that's okay or not.
Just make a generic flyer that happens to be on your person
Yeah.
and go see people.
Have you seen this
Or
flyer?
like when I go to pipeline at the chamber, you know, can I talk
Yeah.
to that group about, hey, this is what we're doing. If anyone wants to donate, reach out.
You can say, hey, check out our social media.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think anything that's just open-ended and generic is fine.
Okay.
I would say, but yeah, definitely utilize social media for sure. Like that is a good way to let people know what's going on
I
and let
think
them know that
Conway,
they can.
yeah, I think
donate.
Conway needs a private tree nonprofit.
Well, that's what we had
Yeah.
briefly talked
We're-
about, but I think
I
that
don't want
creates more
it to
problems,
actually be
yeah.
the tree board though. Like the
Yeah.
tree board, I think maybe should stay a city. But it'd be really nice if we could develop
Partner.
Mhm.
because this is difficult to accomplish what we need to accomplish or what we want to accomplish.
Right. Well, I also didn't know, like, hey, we're a city board, we're asking you for money, you know, we wanna make sure that all of that's okay. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Of course, we always have more
Yeah.
questions.
And sorry, it's not a super clear answer, but
No, you're
think it's
fine.
just
That
complicated.
definitely helps, yeah.
Okay, so, all right, so now we know possibilities with that, so we'll make sure that we are staying within those guidelines. And then what we do, the Community Action Committee, we'll have another meeting in the next, well, we need to do it pretty quickly, this week, early next week,
Numbers to confirm,
and get
right?
that out.
Our donation amounts and stuff.
And then say that one more time on the
Never mind,
slide.
I'll talk to you about it the next meeting.
Okay.
It's fine.
All right, good deal. Okay, my brain just checked out on that one. All right, so we talked about sponsors, partners, funding, and then we did go through and list several people. So all the people that are on your list for Arbor Day are previous partners who've supported through in-kind donations and all of that. So that is on there. So let's talk about workload for the day for a second. So we
Like
are
agenda.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
For the day, I mean,
agenda for the day.
for timeline, yeah.
Yes, and so, so we've decided it's gonna be from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, so it's a 2-hour event.
Okay.
And we know that we will have the tree plantings, and the rededication, ceremony. That'll be kind of the big highlight of the day, but we do wanna interact with people, so, as far as tree plantings, we talked, cause there are 6, which I also know, I saw the 2 other dead trees, potentially 8 by fall. Because there are 2 more that aren't looking great right now, and so maybe by that time we might have to go ahead and do those as well. But we were talking about, and Derek, I don't know if it'd be better for your guys if we did most of the plantings earlier on in the week, got the holes dug and got those in, and left just maybe one.
I think we could actually plant them all and just dedicate them on.
Okay, I didn't know if you wanted to do a
Arbor Day. It might be
presentation
lot
or-
easier. I mean, the only thing is then we don't do the
It'll
tree
ease the
planting
rules.
demonstration, which is educational, but.
That's okay, but we'll have an exhibit, I mean, we can cover that at our table, and the tabling that we're gonna do, so it'd be better if we do that,
If
so,
weather cooperates, yes.
okay.
There have been times it's been like too wet or too dry or
What
something.
happened last year, I think it was too wet.
Yeah.
Every time we dig the holes.
It builds up.
Water.
That happens at Laurel.
Okay, all those healthy trees. So we will plan to do the tree plantings before and then just save and obviously the bricks and all of that will be laid beforehand as well too. And plenty of time probably to be laid and dried. So we'll have to I'll talk to Spencer about when that would be an appropriate time to do that. But that way we'll just do the actual rededication. So in terms of agenda, I don't know if you have thoughts on program and layout of the day.
I'm just going by, what we've done in the past where we had, like school choirs perform and I think we did, a pledge and maybe had like a small flag ceremony.
Because I know,
We often invite the mayor or representative to read the Arbor Day proclamation.
mhm. So, and we'll stick with all of those for sure. But as far as like events, because there used to be an art contest. And so there was, I think, a presentation. We will have our photo contest. So we are going to do a digital photo contest. That's going to run from September 1st to October 15th.
So that will be a virtual kind of activity, started last year. People will submit their photos, we'll have different categories, and
So will
age
we
groups.
recognize winners at the?
So I think that's why we stopped it at October 15th, because we had the nice wrapped print canvases made for them that will be hung somewhere in the city. And we thought this time we could present, have the pictures, go ahead and have them printed and readily available and get a picture and give them their awards and stuff while they're there. Because last time it was just kind of like, and you won, and now your pictures are in the expo center. And, we didn't really get to have contact with them. So it'd be nice to have the winners present and do that, if y'all think that's a good idea. So, we'll do, flag ceremony, proclamation.
And I've got like the agendas from past years.
I mean, I'm not quite sure how laid out you're wanting us to get today, I'll ramble and you can keep me focused.
But we'll need somebody to reach out to some school choirs, I think, pretty soon. This is probably too soon, but.
Well, because they'll be back in August, so I was thinking, they'll be back in August, so maybe that second week that they're back, so I know they'll ought to be planning their events for fall. So it is a pretty quick turnaround. If you go back, there is a page here that says entertainment on it, and previously we had school choirs come, so Marguerite Van, the Scat Cat Choir, which dually is now at Marguerite Van. And then there is, I know one year I attended, CSO was there and there were strings and it was really nice and pretty. Classical music was being played, and that was the year there was an art exhibit kind of hanging, and that was really nice. We also, and I'm not asked, but Sycamore is, there are some biology grad students, and I saw them out playing, and they did some cover songs from like the 70s, 80s, and 90s, maybe early 2000s, but that was nice.
I think the last festival that we had, I think, would have been 2019, and we had more of just
A band or?
pop band, yeah.
Okay. And so, but the intent of the entertainment obviously is to entertain, but also to get people to come to our event. So when we do school age children, where the kids go, the parents follow. So that's a great way to get the community involved and be able to educate more people. And so any thoughts on any other thoughts other than reaching out just to school? I did see there was a homeschool organization. So we might want to reach out to them and give them an opportunity to get out. I don't know if anyone has contacts or
I do.
you do.
I do all their sports with us, so.
Okay, yeah, so that might be, I don't know if there's someone, if you want to send me a contact or if you want to reach out to them or if you want to send it to
I'll
me
send
and
it to
then,
you.
okay. And then we can get that going too.
I can ask Sycamore if they're available that date.
Yeah, and I don't know if they have a fee or if it's just to play and get out in front of, if you want to ask all the
What stage they're at.
questions. They were really good. Maybe we can find a sample of it if y'all want it, but didn't know if we wanted to have that kind of music as well outside of just having the kids come and sing, but that.
I think usually like the kind of formal agenda takes like 30 minutes. It's not long. And then after that, we do have like the booth set up, and I have confirmed with a couple of groups who will have like some tables, like educational type tables and some giveaways and things like that. So just having the band playing, I think, during that time.
Round for the rest of the time.
would
Okay.
be nice.
Okay. I was gonna ask, but if you want to ask, we can do that too. Send them my way. Either way. Okay.
I just got him a bunch of snake tanks, so he owes me a favor.
Okay. I kept his live animals alive the other night, so you can. I'm just kidding. Okay. There's that. So, any other thoughts on entertainment? I know we talked about potentially getting some animals or something like that, but it is a quick 2-hour
Yeah, it's only 2 hours.
event. So, and we are a light crew, so I don't want to put too much on us to make this not enjoyable for everyone. So, are y'all okay if we skip like animals?
One thing about changing the time though is lunchtime now.
It is lunchtime. Yeah.
Well, that's why we were thinking that asking a few banks to come out and grill hamburgers and hot dogs.
I think that'd be nice, especially if they just do do it would be really awesome, but I don't know if they would.
I think they will.
Will they?
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
Okay.
Where we didn't have to do too much. 'Cause there's not that many hands.
And I know Claire, you were gonna reach out to them for us as well for that.
Yes.
Okay.
And I will make sure and make it a blanket statement.
Generically.
Generically request if maybe they're free that Saturday.
I think you're good on that.
Okay.
There's stuff like that all the time.
Okay.
Exhibitors, since we're not wanting to do animals, are we not wanting to reach out to AGFC or 4-H or Raptor Rehab?
Raptor Rehab, I have been seeing their posts lately too about how busy they are going across the state to rescue animals. I don't know if we want to ask them to come out
For an event.
for that amount of time and their return on investment. I don't know.
I mean, I can reach out to 4-H either in my office. I don't know that they were necessarily gonna bring animals. so-
Yeah, they have plenty of other things they can do. Yeah. So I think just, it's up to y'all, but Paul, they're a wonderful group.
I mean, if
but I
another
see that
group
they've been
wants to
very
bring
busy.
animals, awesome.
But otherwise, I think we've got a pretty packed couple hours with the booths and the contest and
I was gonna say in terms of actual like participation and program, like, so we'll present the award, we'll do the dedication. We won't have the tree planting kind of demonstration this year. So, and then we'll have the singing, the pledge, all of that. That's all we're gonna do in terms of,
Well, and then the question becomes where to do that, because the new trees are gonna be on the other side of the park, from like the playground side, because the last time we did this, we did it kind of on the splash pad.
splash pads. Mhm.
Like, do we need to have this closer to the new little memorial area?
I think, so someone else can chime in before I do, because I keep answering the questions. But I mean, I think logistically, instead of getting people back and forth across the park, because if we want music to play to be kind of ambient noise, they're not gonna hear it on one side of the park, it just doesn't carry like that. So, and it's not gonna be a really large event, because we're not doing the big tree giveaways and things like that. So in terms of space that we're gonna require, right, I don't think it's gonna be a large event. And so my initial thought is to keep it all on one end of the park, which would be that north end by the trees and the bricks and all of that.
Okay, so opposite
So
side.
that's just my first thought, and chime in.
Well,
Electricity.
if we have a bank that's coming and doing the hamburgers and hot dogs, where are they gonna set up at?
are they allowed to set up in the grass?
No.
Okay, then that answers that.
So they need to be,
I guess
where
we
do we
could-
need to be?
We could, I don't know, we would need to check with Wyatt, runs our tennis facility over there, to make sure that there's no big event over
That's a
there.
good idea.
But if there isn't, and I can do that, but if there's no big event over there that day, we could maybe use that little parking lot over there for.
Do you wanna find that out first before
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
contact banks? If you'll let me know, and
Yeah.
then I'll have a game plan of where they're gonna be and all the things.
And
I'll be
then
glad to
here's
do that.
another quick thought to that. So I'm thinking like we will have people who we, invited, solicited to come, but then also if Octobers have been like passed, there will still be plenty of people in the park that day. Down on the other end, so do we also want to try to, acquire some of those
And the
folks?
smell of food, I feel
Well,
like people will
And
come.
that was my point, is maybe since
At
we
least check out
aren't
what's
gonna be
going on.
planting the trees, maybe we do
Right?
the dedication and all of that. I don't know, if we need to just do that early and then everybody hit to the other end of the park, I don't know, what are y'all's thoughts?
I think you're gonna regret moving away from the playground splash pads.
I was like,
I was
I
like,
don't know, 'cause that's
I'm just
where we'll
telling
get
you, I
some
really think
activity.
When we did yoga.
It'll be easier.
You have the
for-
pavilions there that are
We
dedicated.
did yoga,
for
the
y'all.
electricity didn't work on that end
We can
too.
make sure that the electricity works, so don't let that
Okay.
be a problem. But I still think you have all the amenities. You got the bathroom, you got the
Bathroom's
parking
nice,
lot.
yeah.
Is it
Wouldn't it
easier to
maybe
set up
easier for
food?
grills?
It's, I think it's
I was
easier to
thinking-
set up
I think
for
you're
all of
gonna,
us.
if you're
And then-
just going down there just
Just-
for the trees.
I'm like, if we're
I
not
don't know.
planting and doing a demonstration, maybe
I mean,
it's-
we could always do like still like like do the actual program on the playground side and
then
just.
say, okay, let's go do our dedication, and then walk over?
Well, we could just,
Or say, hey, that's what happened over
I don't know what the
there?
dedication looks like, but you can always say, you know, I invite you to go
Like
get the
that.
memorial on the other side of the park.
I like that.
We could have just have.
Just kind of on
assigned
peop-
them
on
for
your
the day
own.
To do, yeah,
Yeah.
because we
I
talked
like
about.
that.
And then that we may be better served because we do have a better infrastructure on that end now.
And we could possibly have some kind of, which it's always kind of weird in November because the leaf, you never know what stage leaf drop is gonna be in. But we could still do some kind of a tree walk, like talking about different tree species, because a lot of them are labeled actually. And so if we have a little guided walk that basically just stays on the little path and ends up at the
Well, that would be
memorial.
nice.
So where would that fall? Which I love the
I
tree
think
walk.
after the main, yes, it'll just be like, you know, anybody who's interested kind of thing. And like, and maybe we could, you know, maybe right at the end of the actual like kind of ceremony, you just say, you know, if you're interested in going on the tree walk, meet at this location and or whatever, something like that.
Okay.
I like
And then
that
if
idea.
not, invite them to just go check out our
Yeah.
exhibitors and eat some food and do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Feel good with that? That
I'm
sound
great with
good?
that, yeah.
So we'll be on the, is that the south end of the park?
And we know for a fact that we're good to go there, right? For
Yep,
food
it's
and
already
stuff.
booked for all y'all. Yeah.
So then, yeah,
Yes.
never mind.
Mhm.
I'll just go ahead and start asking.
Mhm. And that'd be easier grill on that.
Yeah, it's set up for all y'all.
Okay.
So yeah, the last time we did it, we actually set tables on the splash pad for like the little exhibitor areas. That you think that's still a good idea?
Yeah,
You're gonna
so-
get run over.
Did we do that?
Well, it won't be, the water will be off.
Oh, okay.
You're right, though.
Glad
A few
she was
months-
not,
A few
but-
weeks before, no,
Yeah.
I don't think there'd be an issue with that.
Okay. There's also the new little walkway for the little sensor, the music area. You know,
So I was thinking we were set up along there too last time, which that would not be a good location.
we could go look at it a
Yeah.
few weeks before and see.
So we can do that and kind of get some things mapped out when we know how many folks are gonna be there, but the actual program will be
I
kind
just
of
think
at
you're
that
gonna,
splash pad area.
you're gonna be glad you're on the south side.
And I think you guys put up some bleachers kind of just
We're planning-
outside
yeah,
the
we're planning to do that
splash
again,
pad or right on the edge of the splash pad.
And we can do that again.
And if you have a preference on how kind of where we set up and all that, if you wanna just let us know and then
We can be on
do the
site
rest of that.
and we'll
We'll
come up
walk
with a
it.
game plan.
Okay, all right. And we'll set a date to walk.
I can ask a 4-H club maybe to do the little flag ceremony and pledge. They've
We'll
done
talk
it in
to
the
them
past, yeah.
about that. And you said 4-H is who you'll ask for that?
Yeah,
And we'll mark off animals, we'll do.
but they may also do a table, I don't know.
Okay.
And they can bring a flag from the office.
You know, the kids really love the bugs, like biology department brought by, I'm thinking what's on trees, what's in trees, what are beneficial to trees, so if there are,
I mean, Coleman has a
Bugs.
massive insect collection that we bring to
Yeah.
events all the time.
it's those hissing, you know, they bring
Cicadas.
whatever bugs. I think one year they had those big hissing cockroach, I don't know, Museum of Discovery used to bring their big bugs and biology, so that was always a huge hit at EcoFest with the kids, that's kinda.
Well, I just love the idea of you guys just bringing some different, like, cause you've got like tree cookies and the cores and
Mhm.
I mean, I think that could just be kind of, I mean, for adults too,
Mhm.
just to talk about reading the tree rings and what you can learn from it. I think that would be really neat.
Yeah, we have a few pieces that they've already been dated like on the actual physical sample, so they have like labels for years. And then we also have a big sample that we took purposely for display eventually because it's pretty much the entire stump. I'm very glad I didn't have to carry that.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
can we carry that to the thing? Well, we have,
I mean,
have a
I've got
cart.
dollies.
Yeah,
was-
I have a cart that we used for cookies.
That'd be
in the
wonderful if you
past.
could
Yeah.
bring some of that stuff. I think that'd be really neat.
And that's the fisheries and wildlife group, or that's someone different?
I mean,
that's
I know
just.
You guys are all just kind of blending together.
Yeah. I mean,
UCA.
we could do that through UCA Fish and Wildlife Society, we could do that through UCA Allies in STEM, we could do that through UCA Tree People, I mean.
So I thought when we talked about exhibitors, there's a lot of stuff we can do, but like what are the main, and Krista does good about reminding us of what our purpose is and mission as a board. And that is to educate the public, right? And about our public trees. And so making sure that, do it.
If kids like animals, I can bring a snake.
I think that'd be a big hit.
It's a 5.5, 6 foot ball python.
Don't let it out.
Genuinely,
I don't know if you should bring that.
Reproduced.
Genuinely the sweetest snake I've ever handled, and I've taken
Not
it
a thing.
to
That's not a thing. Sweet snake.
Ego Fest in the past and different outdoor events with kids, and I just carry it around my neck whenever kids come up. I hold one end, the head end, and then just offer the tail portion so kids can feel the muscles and the scales and stuff.
That big, huh? Good. Yeah. That sounds fun.
Krista probably won't be anywhere.
I'm leading the tree walk. Away from
Away
the snake.
Yes.
Ball pythons have puppy dogs.
You're not allowed to go on the tree walk with the snake.
Hey. I noticed that you also have me down for prescribed fire. I mean, UCA has access to, and we've got all of the clothes attire. I've got boots, hard hats,
I think
goggles.
both of those, all of that
Oh,
would
I
be
can-
really
so
cool.
much
Do you have
fun.
enough people to because that's my concern is you guys have so many different things. Do you have enough people that
So I figured she'll do the
tree
wood
range?
and I'll do the fire.
Okay, and the snake.
Stays at
Well,
home.
the snake just stays on. Gives me a hug the whole time.
It's for you.
I'm fire and
Snake.
snake. Yeah. But yeah, I can wear.
She's like, here, put on this suit, hold my snake. Yeah.
Do you have any, I was thinking about the prescribed fire, do you have any publications, or I'm sure we could find something that might be a little handout or something, I'm thinking about
Mhm.
at Forestry Division, I've seen, these stickers that are something good fires prevent bad fires kind of thing and stuff like that.
Stuff there.
UCA does not, but
We should
if-
think about printing some, and I might be able to find some.
if AGFC had some, if Foresters Division had some, it would still work.
Or just some little tips, because the one thing is I don't want people to just without proper preparations go start.
Oh,
fires.
good.
No.
Yeah, so
And I mean, what UCA does have is a lot of the equipment, and so
Yeah.
we can bring. A
which I mean that's
bunch-
wonderful. That's the tactile.
I was thinking we could put hard hats on kids and have them.
Oh, we've had
hold,
them dress up in
It's a
yeah.
flapper, and so suppression tools, having them put out.
Okay.
We're not gonna light your products on fire.
Mhm.
I won't bring fuel, I promise.
Yeah.
But all
Okay,
that
I'll
kind
look
of
for some
stuff.
kind of a little flyer handout or something that might be some good tips or why prescribed fire is good kind of thing.
So I was thinking, on the topic of fire, what would we want to say to the public? I thought it was neat to see, and I can't remember exactly who posted it, but during the burn bans and it was so dry, even reminding people your lawn equipment could spark a fire.
Dragging
This can
chains
spark
are the
a fire.
most
Dragging
common.
chains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so could we have a fire prevention and
Mm-hmm.
prescribed, because we need both,
Which,
right? You
so-
hear-
Arkansas Forestry Division has said yes, they will be at our event.
We're
But
gonna have Smokey the Bear.
we're gonna have
Yes.
Smokey the Bear.
Yes.
Yep.
And they'll have giveaways.
And they'll have giveaways, Smokey
Fantastic.
giveaways. But I hadn't really asked about handouts and flyers and stuff. So
And I don't know, as we're going into fall, if that's even relevant enough
relevant.
information, but it seems like it will
it's
be.
relevant.
So,
Well, more people are out in the woods, I think, in the fall.
That's
So
true.
fire safety and everything.
We can have
Yeah.
terrible
Like-
fire seasons in January is often one of the worst months.
Yeah, I mean,
September and October are really
Yeah.
bad months for it.
okay.
Yeah.
So then
Also
fire
really
is
great
an
month
important thing
for
to have.
prescribed fire.
Yeah.
That's when you're burning from October to
March, depending on. But a lot of us are raking our leaves or wanting to. We don't, we reuse our leaves, however, many people are wanting to do some burning and things like that, so.
Historically, that's when most of the fires in Arkansas occurred, was in fall, so like the dormant season for trees.
It's that forestry's the best person, is that,
It's
I know
usually
there's Firewatch and then-
before deer season.
Yeah, intentional.
And when it's not too hot to want to be next to fire.
Yeah.
It's easier on your crew.
But yeah, so something on fire prevention and something else on prescribed burns. And I can look for some educational materials and I'll ask some forestry division people.
I just remembered, I have a good, so one of the sites we've been going to collect samples for building fire history is the Iron Forks in Polk County, and we actually have a picture of what that site looked like in the 1930s before fire suppression. And I took a bunch of pictures when we went out there with what it looks like now, so that might be good to have on there.
Neat.
Yeah, because you can see like how open it used to be.
If I may, you say it also has a geography department and geography club. So if you guys end up needing,
are you a geography?
yeah, I'm a geography major, but I'm also the club president. If you guys end up needing extra hands,
Nice.
We do.
Yes.
I
Then
told
yes,
you guys
can we just
yes.
go ahead and say yes? We need extra hands.
Also, yes.
Yeah, I forgot
That
about
was
the
quick.
state of geography club because Burdick has been out of
yes.
commission.
Speaking of fire, is that what you just said? Yeah.
Mhm.
We're all in our building.
Speaking
right
of
now.
fire,
Speaking of fire.
Yes.
Non-prescribed
Absolutely.
fire.
We work for Dr. Flatley, and so
in
in that lab, and so we'll reach out.
A lot of cross-pollination. They just had a building fire a while ago, but they're displaced until like January.
I don't
Started in the restaurant.
Well,
It's the deli's fault.
Oh, this all sounds good.
Yeah, if you
that is
wanna, if
wonderful.
y'all wanna bring
And then no
wood
waste.
stuff, tree rings, cords, etc., I'll bring
Okay.
fire stuff.
Yeah.
We could bring an insect collection. They're dead and pinned in like shadow boxes.
So I still think that's cool.
It's always a huge hit for
I
a
like
big
bugs.
event, so.
They like bugs, not snakes.
Learning something new about you.
All right, so let's look at that. So let's go, we've kind of hopped all over. I know we talked at one point, maybe a beekeeper, why trees need bees, possibly, don't know if that's a
I know
relevant.
some beekeepers, I can ask beekeepers too.
Don't offer us. I'm just kidding. Just like, I happen to know a beekeeper.
Well, he's not a beekeeper and he supports native bee populations, which honeybees aren't great.
This. So, not that I'm not telling you,
I mean, do we want
Yes,
the
no,
beekeepers?
I'm very
Absolutely.
committed to lots of other things, and
Yeah.
so, yeah, just want to be mindful of your time and commitment level. But Krista, so you said you'll reach out to some beekeepers for it?
Yep.
Because that would be really neat too, to have that. There was actually a Conway I think she's in Conway, who just paid to have, I can't remember, millions of, that may not be it, that's an exaggeration, a large amount of bees removed to save them. And they were in her walls of her house, and she had them come and had a huge colony just relocated, which was wonderful because most people would just say, kill it, it's all in the house, it's too expensive. So she went through a lot of time and expense, and I thought that was pretty wonderful. Okay, I did speak to Interfaith Power and Light. They are focused on food security and community gardens, and did an initial ask if she would like to be there to do an activity with kids too. So I know Interfaith Power and Light, they're partnering right now locally with Coho to get some community gardens installed, and they do that in Little Rock. So they would be interested in coming too as well.
Master gardeners are in.
Okay.
I know that Master gardeners will provide some information on like how to plant a tree, good tree choices for Arkansas, invasive
I was
plants.
gonna ask if they'll do invasive. Okay.
But they could do some other things too if there was something specific that we want.
About how many activities versus just information do we typically have? Like, do we want more hands-on? Because I know it's not, we want to engage the children, but we also want to have just.
I think you also want good
Information, too.
relevant educational information for the adults.
Because they always ask have lots of questions, and so I
So I
think
think you need a little bit of both,
Both.
which I think you've got already,
That's
just
the
in what
thing.
we're talking about.
yeah.
Because we'll have a tree board table also where we'll have mostly kids' activities, I think, right?
Mhm.
Isn't that the plan?
So we've still got adopt a tree, we'll do the.
Which master gardeners could help man that
Yeah.
too if we need, or if maybe we might get some other UCA volunteers from, or Hendrix from these volunteer fairs.
Okay.
I think Master Naturalist said they already have something going on that weekend.
Okay, so I was gonna ask about that, okay. But you guys are gonna do the tree biscuits and rings and all that anyway, so that'll be covered. Okay. So in terms of the tree walk, the tree ID walk, just quickly, would that be something you and Harold would wanna do, or we wanna let someone else lead that?
I'm happy to do it.
Okay, that'd be great.
Harold does a really good job too, and I think we kind of do a good job
Oh, yeah.
together.
Okay.
And he's gonna be there.
Okay, great. Thoughts on inviting state parks or leave no trace, would that be something that would be relevant, to
If
get
they
park
come.
rangers out talking, see if we could get them out? And they can talk about trees, leave no trace, since people will be out camping and being out crawling in the vehicles and all that.
Yeah, I don't know how this works, but like, I mean, since Woolly Hollow, I think, is the closest state park,
Oh, Janet, thank you.
maybe they could send a ranger.
So I can reach out. Unless you have contacts, I can reach out to them.
That'd be great. Yeah, I do.
I will do that. And we will have Arbor Day information, obviously, at our table. Anyone else? I see I'm doing it. It sticks, you have to push it really hard. I have on here Watershed Alliance or stormwater, someone talking about stormwater, do we need to do that? I can't remember why I had that on there.
That'd be good.
Importance of trees,
Yeah.
bioremediation, or anything like that, is that relevant for this type of event?
It is, I'm just questioning who,
It's
is there anybody
probably-
with
it's
the
probably-
city since you have the new
it's-
park?
It's probably Canton that was involved with that.
I was gonna say, I don't know how active y'all are as far as that in that time of year, but it popped up because of MLK. It reminded me
Right.
when I went to the park opening for that. Or is there someone else that talks about stormwater?
I mean, Extension has a stormwater specialist in Little Rock, but I think the chance of getting him to come to our little
Saturday for,
probably not.
and I can reach out to Canton, maybe see how, or somebody from the conservation.
Yeah, there's a couple of different messages, I guess, that we could send about stormwater runoff and trees.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really valuable, but I don't know, I mean, we got quite a few things that we're gonna talk about. The same event, maybe that's something we save for another
Event.
event.
I was gonna say, like, and what would be relevant for our residents are gonna be coming out, we're talking about, like what would be
How do you tie it in?
relevant to share for that, and you're right, maybe that's just not appropriate.
I mean, plant trees to help with
It's a benefit
stormwater
of
issues.
having trees, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I used to have a really nice little sign when I worked for Forestry Division, like a stand-up thing that talked about just benefits of trees in communities. But I don't think they use it anymore because the logos, they changed logos.
It would be great to even, if we had some kind of presentation on MLK Park and what it's doing for stormwater, because it's actually coming in, it's gonna go out cleaner and it's gonna slow it down, so even if, I mean, I don't know who that would fall, I mean, not Parks and Rec, Chamber, City, I don't know who had kind of that presentation information on it, but we can table that for now.
I think so. It
Simmer
sounds
on
like it. We need to
Yeah,
think
yeah,
about
it
it.
is. If we want to introduce that, then, let us know. What other thoughts? I know Daffodil Days is on here. Did you talk to them?
I
Do we
didn't
need
talk to them, and I think we questioned if,
Whatever.
if that's totally appropriate for.
Okay.
I can still ask, cause it's still greening, I guess.
And then-
They're a very small organization though, so I kind of can't imagine that they'll want to set up a table.
Okay.
Basically like 3 people.
Okay. Anything else we need to, and then I know Natalie's on the phone, but I don't know if you feel up to responding, but Conway Corp or Energy Smart audits. I know that Conway Corp does the Energy Smart audits. I know they were pretty overwhelmed and backed up with getting those done. But looking at, like, Arbor Day's done a lot of good marketing around the importance of trees around your homes and savings for energy and things like that, so.
Be cool. That might be a thing that Master Gardeners could help with, is just looking at the tree benefit calculator. If we had like some tablets, you can like put in your home address and look, just kind of play with that program a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty neat.
I'd play with that.
I did it at home. I was like, and of course I don't know all my trees, but I typed in some. It's kind of neat what it did show you. So that might be a possible. And I think the invasives and the natives are really great because drought and flood, those are both good.
Right now, people would be willing to listen to anything that might help their electrical bill.
Yep. Just
For me, it's just the water bill. The electric's fine.
and then we cut down one ill-advised tree. We advised ourselves that one needed to come down, and they were like, and now everything is getting 14 hours, and it seems like straight sun, but it feels like it. Okay. Any other thoughts? We talked about maybe having the fire department come down with their trucks too, but if you're gonna do your fire setup, is that
I think
necessary?
this sounds good.
Okay, we're done. We're good with that?
Are we
Okay.
good?
I was gonna say, I mean, I
A
have
few
my
hours
half,
worth
but
of
I
stuff,
don't have a
we got
big
stuff.
truck, so I mean,
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I do think we need to, which hopefully Natalie can help us with, like social media promotions and stuff, just anything to get people there.
Mhm. And quickly, speaking of getting people there and marketing, I did go over to Extension Office and we pulled out all of our old items. And pretty much all of our printed materials that are in there some had to be disposed of, like our large banners. There was just too much information. We couldn't.
Old website that,
Yeah, it had specific days and activities that we no longer do, and old websites. It was just too much to modify. There are about 27 of the standard yard signs that we have. So I reached out to Crossman today to get, and the only thing on that's just that one kind of banner, that strip at the bottom that has our old website. So we could just get an adhesive, like with our new information, to cut on cost for that. That's 27 of those. So we could get a few around town and around the park. But we
I think
weren't.
getting the event on some of the calendar, like community calendars, would be really good, and the sooner the better.
We might could even, I always throw Natalie out, but maybe even Faulkner Lifestyle or 501 Life, or, somebody do a fun little article maybe on Arbor Day, and Log Cabin's been really good to do press for us as well. So we were thinking that between the 27 signs, social media, and getting on the calendars, that would be enough, and we could forego the expense of getting banners and lots of reprints of things. If y'all are okay with, I know we can't officially vote, but sounds like we're all kind of in agreement.
The art contest people are gonna know about it, plus
You're
the
voting to
flyers
not
people.
spend money, I think. We don't have to vote on that.
Because we did put more we spent more money like on tree, which is a great
I'm
problem
sorry.
to have.
No, it was the same thought, but yeah, I think we're good.
So I think that's enough coverage. we do have some popcorn bags in there if we want to do popcorn. My husband works at a company who has a popcorn machine. It's been in storage, so I've asked him to pull it out and use it, and let's see if it's still functional. And if so, then we have a free popcorn. All we'd have to do is get the popcorn oil and stuff like that. As far as our exhibit, the activities that the tree board's gonna do, we have everything that we need, so there won't be expense or minimal, maybe a pack of paper. I think other than that, we've got everything we need.
There are a few expenses, I think, with the photo contest for like prizes, right?
And last year that was, and we kind of threw in some last minute prizes, but I would say no more than, I think all of the printing and everything was right under $300, so we probably could get all of that done. I'd say $500 or less, probably for the photo contest. The one thing, what I reached out to with the arts board is to do those value price tags hanging on trees throughout the community. If we get city approval to hang big price tags on trees for a couple of weeks, we will have all the considerations of vandalism, things like that. But that's what I reached out to them. So there's a possible expense with that in terms of printing the tags and everything, but I'm hoping that they can partner with us and we'll hopefully kind of execute that for us. But it is a very short time frame that I've asked of something. So
What about a t-shirt?
and t-shirts. So now t-shirts. So we don't have very many t-shirts left. I think there's 20 of like small and larges and extra larges, so that, maybe would cover some volunteers and things like that. So we really need to think about, that's where the biggest expense comes in. Usually that would run you about $1,000 to get a decent haul of t-shirts to then turn around and resell, which we could get money from that. But it's a matter of, do we want t-shirts, which I love t-shirts.
Everybody loves a
Everybody
t-shirt.
loves a t-shirt. The bandanas actually went over really well
The
too. They're
bandanas were
purchased-
really
they are a huge
cute.
hit.
Yeah, they're really cute.
So we could do, balance it out, but looking at our budgets. Bye, Lila, thank you. And I know we've got a call in here, just, we're at 5:48. So I think t-shirts, unless we have to lay brick, but would be the biggest expense. And so we need to decide if we want to do t-shirts this year and take on that expense. I know we can't officially vote, but if y'all just give me a nod of yes or no, if you want me to pursue something like that.
I love t-shirts.
I like a cool t-shirt.
I like a cool t-shirt. And so if we get t-shirts, then it's like, what do we want them to say? And so we like tree hugger, we like tree people. I also saw one that said,
Yay, trees.
yay trees, was fun. And then somebody had like keep Conway shady, a big shade tree in the middle of it. I don't know the connotation, city of roundabouts and trees, I don't know. We wanted to, but it would be, let's come up with some kind of fun t-shirt. Historically, I think the keep calm and plant trees was probably one of the favorites.
I think it's the favorite. I think some of it was the quality of the shirt was really nice. It was 100% cotton.
Yeah. And those are gonna run us about $11 a
I have-
piece.
And I have to admit, like, I like that shirt and I wear it a lot, but I like to focus more on the tree care because we gotta, like the planting is not enough.
And are we using sponsorships? Are we doing sponsors on the back?
Well, so that kind of takes us back to, yes, we would definitely, if people are giving us in-kind donations and
Conway
we've
Court
done
Path needs to be on the
solicitation,
back.
then, I would say yes, but I don't know if we had a limit of price tag of donation.
Well, that's when we talked
I
about the
think
different
most
levels.
Yeah, I think in the past, most of the logos on the back were like these groups that provided tables. Yeah.
So it was what, your
It was
exhibitors?
People that are
Yeah.
helping in some way with.
Yeah, they consider those like in
Or
kind.
Exhibitor
That's gonna be
partners.
coming out
Right.
and doing.
Yeah.
And so where do we draw the line with that? Is it, that would be something we need to discuss, and I don't, again,
Yeah,
maybe
no,
throw
it
that
seems like
back
it's a
to
little bit
legal.
unclear.
Well, so again, is it
Yeah.
all or nothing, or is there a limit that we can set that at, or?
So I will check on that and see.
We You could
Thank you.
even adjust font size, like
Yeah.
if somebody
That's what I
donated a
thought.
lot of time or effort, their logo is a lot bigger. If someone donated $50, they're still
Well, we just
helping.
had their name, that we used to do like bigger logos and then down to names, just kind of on the back of the shirt, so. But we would go with one color print, to keep the screening cost low, but one shirt color, one print color would be, but it's probably gonna run us $11 to $14 per, roughly, I would think. Shirtflation.
I just got,
kidding.
I just
Sorry.
got shirts from Dyermark and they were $11 a piece and it was two-sided color.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it is for two, for sure. And do we have to do the bid? Like, do we have to go, how do y'all do, how have we done t-shirts historically? Do we have to go out and get a
Dustin
competitive
Bosford just
bid?
bought.
Yeah, that was it. It was whoever made the king shirt, that's who did it.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But we can certainly do bid. I mean, there's quite a few t-shirt places around town.
It's
now.
easy to get 3 t-shirt bids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 3, okay.
Usually 3, isn't that pretty standard, 3
I
bids?
think that sounds
Okay.
about right.
So we'll look at t-shirts, maybe we can do,
Keep Conway shady with a giant tree.
Do you think Dustin has some kind of, like, does
No.
he use local companies
No.
or he doesn't have like a certain
No.
place? Okay.
No, I got him some stuff from Dyermark, but the t-shirts were just from a big online company that he's got a history with and an account with, that's all.
Okay.
I can see who that was.
You have someone to design it.
are you offering services? My question is dependent on your, no, I'm just kidding.
I know a bunch of the companies have design in-house.
But if you have a really cool design you want to like
If
present.
you're offering though.
I was offering, I've designed a couple t-shirts. And
Dude, see, there we go.
Fantastic. Your intern's already over here working.
Yeah, he's doing great. Designing t-shirts and everything.
So, and what do
What do we want to decide?
what do we want it to say? So I know you like to keep Conway shady. You've said that 3
I like
times.
tree hugger.
But
And I
that's
like
already
tree-
a Rock City shirt.
Is it really?
Yeah, they sell those in their store.
I see, I saw it from a different city, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, so I don't know if we can steal that or not.
Yeah,
And we've worked with them too, so I would hate to.
like tree hugger, or I mean, is there something that speaks to you?
But we might
I
get some
think-
stickers.
You wanna go ahead
Yay,
and mock us up
trees.
some and we'll.
Trees rock. Trees are cool.
Oh, there
And
you
we
go.
did kind of do the plant preserve protect.
We could can age myself and be like, trees are awesome.
I don't know.
if you have like a graphic style, like any specific tree that you want, color schemes, any of that.
I mean, I can show you the shirt that, like we said, like there's one that says keep calm and plant trees that everybody loves for some reason. And it's just a
Let's
really
just do a different version
simple
of that.
graphic design.
You want just an updated version of that?
Well, we don't want it to just say plant trees.
Well, it's funny because I was actually wearing
Perspective.
that last week, and somebody I know who knows me, she's like, I like your shirt, but it should say keep calm and water trees. And I'm like, it should. You're right.
Keep calm, keep trees.
Keep calm and protect trees?
Well, and we had also at one time talked about the healthy trees, healthy lives, using that slogan.
Oh, that's true too, because we can use that one. I like that one.
Healthy trees, healthy lives.
And the other options we could, because.
What about you? The design on
Stickers,
the
sorry.
design on the handkerchief is really good and everybody liked it. Is there some way to make that a shirt?
We'll send you Noah. The graphic for that. I will not send you my crude drawings on.
Because it's a handkerchief, so it's like a
Which is why-
four-sided design.
Yeah.
But it's very
And the
popular.
plant preserve protect, kind of encompasses, and we don't have
If
to
the
say
keep
that.
calm thing is good, why don't we do keep calm and love trees, and then that way it's not plant or it's everything involved.
All encompassing.
Or like
That's
the
the I just,
I Heart
if
New
there, if there's
York,
one that's
I Heart
popular,
Trees.
don't go away from what's popular.
Maybe on the back it says Stay Shady Conway.
I know, well, I was like, here's the other thing is we could.
I'm just gonna get you one of those shirts. I'm just gonna get one
So
for you.
here's a thought, we could do tees, we can do stickers, the stickers are a huge hit.
Oh, yeah.
And if you do
So
stickers,
we
you can
could
do different
We
sayings.
could do a tree hugger, we could do yay trees, we could do keep Conway shady, cause like, I think it's funny, but I don't know that my mom would wear a keep Conway shady. You know, I don't know, you know, depending on all of our different, need to appeal from one to.
You might just want something that says Arbor Day 2022.
Well, and so that's because that's the other part that.
Well, with the sponsors, and it's usually on the back, Arbor Day, I didn't mean that to be flippant, but you know.
Yeah,
the Arbor.
it's always good to just say, put that.
Keep it simple.
Yeah,
Valid point.
What trees primarily have been planted recently and or that we're dedicating on Arbor Day?
We talked about species for the Arbor Day. We like to mix it up because I'm all about diversity of tree species.
I know Noah had asked about a favorite tree or a particular species.
Well, and there are these little sayings where they use like the tree name as part of the like little pun, you know, like really bad at puns.
Sycamore for me.
Yeah, you like the sycamore. We have planted plenty.
Yeah, I was gonna vote sweet gum, but.
There
Yeah,
is,
everybody
we will
hates
not be
those,
planting
though.
more, not because, but there's
I
32%
like the
of
Laurel Park.
those.
It's
Laurel Park.
fantastic. You can do a sweet gum on fire, but
Yeah,
that's
Laurel
very
Park's already at
And it's
32%.
oversaturated with sweet gums.
yeah.
and so-
Would you know when you can burn them better?
But okay, so we've gotten nowhere with that, but
Something to discuss.
Does Conway
Yeah.
City have a like a city tree, kind of like we got state trees?
No.
Okay.
we don't have one
I'd
that's.
be in favor of sycamore.
I was all about the sycamore.
Is it
And I
pretty
love a sycamore
graphic?
too.
So I'm good with sycamore.
And the band's sycamore.
Oh, and the base sycamore, maybe.
There you go. See?
Look, well, like you have
We're
your own
naming them
T-shirt.
out.
Look at
Right.
that. They're famous.
I would guess if Willow was here, she might have a different favorite tree.
So maybe a sycamore tree as far as like the image and then yeah. We can play around with different things.
We need more sycamore.
Hey.
Okay, 5:59.
Here we go.
Ready to call it? And oh, quick reminder, sorry, just kidding, can't call it. So we do need a date to walk the park. I don't know if we need to accomplish that this month, if we want to do the layout. Does that be next month? We can wait on that.
Wait till
And
it's
then-
cooler.
Yeah, and then
I
do
mean,
you
it's
want to
okay
remind
today,
us
but-
that tomorrow we do have the Forestry Management Committee meeting, 5:00 at the Extension office. So whoever is going to attend that tomorrow. I didn't look at you like you're supposed to attend, sorry. I did look right at you, but I don't expect you to be there. And then we did not get to this. However, we can't
We can't vote. There's no
anyway.
bills.
So what I will say is y'all please look and review and let's be kind of ready to go with this next time. And I'll send a reminder out to those who weren't here today. And then, but we did handle most of this business, so I will get with Natalie and see what she had and we'll send out notes for all of this. And then if you committed to take an action and talk to people, please do so. We don't have to ask.
But
All right.
generically, and you know.
Generically in a widely social, non-preferential type of way would be great.
Follow directions.